morning, everyone, and welcome back to Grindhouse, where we drink coffee and talk about movies. My name is Leah Diana, and with my boyfriend and co-host, Shawn Tetrault, we will be winding back the reels to 1973. During the Meiji era, a gambler called Ocho takes revenge on three gangsters who killed her father, shelters a wanted anarchist, and confronts a British spy in Sex and Fury. Let's get into it.
Shawn, あなたは very nice のギャンブラーです。あんたも最高の博打打ちだよ。殺されたお父っつぁんが握っていた3枚の花札、2枚は消えたが残る1枚を消させてもらうよ。
Spread the word, you dirty cocksuckers! Tell all your grave robbing friends I want them out of the city now!
The nightmare of insane murder.
From the depths of hell.
From the angel of death. Only at the Grindhouse.
Hello, Leah, and welcome back for episode 3.
Yeah, I know. Wow.
We're really doing this.
We are.
Alright, so what are we covering today?
Today, we are covering a movie that I have an actual story behind why I own this. So we are covering a movie called Sex and Fury. I saw this movie back in 2005 when I went to my first Otakon. It was a anime convention, one of the biggest on the East Coast. Currently, it's in Washington, D.C. now, but it used to be in Baltimore. And about midnight, they start the 18-plus shows. Usually you go to hentai or some weird stuff. We didn't make it to the hentai ones. And the description, I wish I still had it. I don't have the booklet. A couple of my friends do, but I wasn't able to get in touch with them before now to have them go through it. The synopsis of this movie that they wrote out in the program book intrigued the hell out of all of us. So we were like, oh, we got to see this. I saw it with 400 people in a small room at a convention center. It's not a small room, but it was with 400 other people. No sleep, high on sugar, possibly drunk, possibly high, don't know. It was Saturday night, it was 2 a.m, and let me tell you, it was a fucking interesting ride.
This is definitely not the type of movie you watch with a room of 400 people.
Oh no, you do not. But when you watch it with when you watch it with 400 anime fans, oh, it gets good. It gets real good.
I could definitely see that.
But yeah, I ended up about a year later wandering into Newbury Comics. It's a local New England kind of music, vinyl record shop, music shop. And I found this just sitting there next to a Chinese copy of Hero, which is like a really big movie at that point. I still have the really nice Chinese copy of it. But I saw Hero and I went, what's that next to it? And I pull Sex and Fury off the shelf and I've owned it ever since. This is my 4th viewing of this movie. My first one was at Otakon. I've seen it 2 more times with my friends. And this is the last time I saw this was over a decade ago.
This is my first viewing of this movie.
I know, this is weird.
I have seen things like this before, and I'm not gonna lie, going into this I wasn't very excited, only because this type of 70s era film isn't my cup of tea generally, though I will say that I did enjoy this viewing. But before we get too far into that, essentially this is Sex and Fury. It's a film directed by Norifumi Suzuki. I'm probably gonna butcher all these fucking names. But it stars Reiko Ike.
Oh my god, you should just have me read these.
Do you want to read them?
Yeah, send me the link and I will read the Japanese names. I'm
just
not that much better.
Just go on Wikipedia.
It's the Wikipedia
or
page.
Even IMDb. They're listed there. I apologize. I'm an uncultured pig.
No. All right. So, the director is Norifumi Suzuki. Yup. Reiko Aiki?
So you're no better at this.
Hey. I speak mostly Korean, so... Oh, and one of the other girls that's in it, her name is Christina Lindberg. I can say that name pretty well.
Well, I assume that's the English broad.
I'm sorry. English broad.
English, yeah.
Very loose.
So the actual plot of this film essentially follows a female petty criminal, played by Reiko Aiki, I believe. Who becomes involved in an international intrigue while searching for the sister of a man she saw murdered in a gambling den.
The synopsis
doesn't match what we saw.
What does it say on the back of this? Hang on. Stars Ocho, a gambler and pickpocket in the Meiji-era Tokyo. After sheltering a fleeing anarchist, Ocho encounters the 3 villains responsible for her father's murder and runs afoul of various yakuza who want her dead.
See, that's accurate.
Yeah. Like, the synopsis on the internet doesn't match.
No, so whoever last edited the Sex and Fury Wikipedia page,
You failed.
try again.
You failed. You know, I've never edited a Wikipedia page. I'm always afraid that somebody's going to find my IP address and kill me.
There's no point in editing a fucking Wikipedia page. Half the information is wrong. I go on it mostly for basic information and budget information, which unfortunately this is not listed here.
No.
I really would have loved to know what this movie was made for, but unfortunately I think a lot of the stuff made around this time doesn't have very good record keeping.
The translation on this page is rough because it is called Bad Godin Indo Deer Butterfly.
Jesus.
What? Yeah, I can't find a lot of information. There isn't a lot of information I know about this one. I mean, until I really read the back of this box and we realized there's a sequel to this movie. Like, that's when I realized, wait a minute, there's an actual follow-up to this.
Which I think could be pretty cool, considering...
It really could. Well, I'm not finding very much of anything in here. So I think we should just jump into... There's not going to be a lot of fun facts on this one.
No,
And there's not going to be a lot of info on this one. So if anybody knows info, we'd love to know. We didn't really think there would be very little, but this is also like a 1973 grindhouse film.
Yeah, this is goes without saying. This is an exploitation film in its truest form. This movie opens. We get an old police detective who's being brutally murdered, and I'm not gonna lie. At first, I thought it was like a grandfather and his granddaughter.
That's what I thought in the beginning. Yeah, when I first saw it.
It's actually a father being murdered, and his daughter
Watching
sees it.
Yeah.
Sees him die, essentially. Which is followed up immediately by a slightly 007 style credit sequence.
Like, I love it. It's ridiculous. It's that moment when you see how the dad dies, how dramatic the death is, and the fake paint red blood.
Oh, I love it.
And the opening sequence, are you like, this is going to be a bumpy ride, kids?
The credit sequence ends very abruptly, and then we're introduced to the recently elected president of Japan. I was trying to keep up with this, but
I'm not sure.
He immediately faces the most poorly attempted assassination I've ever seen.
Oh my god.
And the assassin manages to fight his way out with minor wounds, and he's saved by our protagonist, the young girl from the intro, who has now grown up.
Blossomed into a beautiful butterfly.
This woman is beautiful.
She's gorgeous.
She is absolutely gorgeous, but terrifying.
I mean, when
shit.
even when she smiles in some scenes, she's like, and you're like, she's gonna kill me. She's gonna cut me.
She has the most intense eyes.
She does.
It's
like
horrific.
Christ.
And by the way, this assassin he's fucking terrible. Throughout this whole movie, his disguise is awful.
What disguise?
Like the cloak that he keeps putting on, and he keeps attempting. Like every time he attempts the assassination, he strikes way too soon.
And why is he going in with a sword, knowing that these assholes have guns?
I don't know.
It kills me. It kills me. I just have a comment that goes, that was smart. I don't know what it was for. It was in the beginning. I thought it was funny that she's just your average pickpocket. She just, I can't help it. I keep doing it. Oh no, I did it again. That's the sarcasm I like out of her. It's just so funny. All of the deaths in this movie are over dramatic.
Oh, but it's awesome.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
They put so much intensity into even the smallest ones.
Like just the death of the brother. Or the brother when she goes to seek the young girl. He sends her to Tokyo to go find the young girl. That death is like it's fucking Pee Wee Herman from Buffy the Vampire Slayer movie. Like it's that. It is that long. So funny though.
We follow her to some kind of gambling house.
Yep.
Where a man is brutally murdered for trying to cheat.
But you find out that the owner of the gambling house told him he had to cheat and then called him out for cheating and let him die. And I was like, damn! Brutal!
It becomes very clear early on that everybody in this movie is pretty much a scumbag.
They're out to get each other. Everybody's out to get each other.
Which kind of, I guess if you look at it in the right light, makes sense because everyone is... This is a movie centered around the act of gambling in a lot of ways.
The Yakuza, kind of like the seedy underbelly of Japan in that era.
In gambling, you never want to show your hand. You always want to have ulterior motives.
Yes.
So like it kind of makes sense that everybody is out to backstab one another.
Yeah.
That's what you're doing. I also learned by this sequence, which was very early in the movie, that everyone carries knives, but no one knows how to use them.
Yeah. The ones that carry the swords kind of know how to use them. The ones that carry the knives don't. And half the people that shoot the guns went to stormtrooper training school.
Oh my god, they miss almost every time.
So she learns information that she's not supposed to know. but she's still staying near the gambling house. And she doesn't realize that her life is threatened. And then we come to the first fight scene, Shawn. What did you think of this fight scene?
All right, so essentially, let me set the stage for you. So she is alone in her room. She's
in the bathhouse.
Yeah, in the bathhouse. That's what it is. So she's in the bath, obviously naked.
Stark fucking naked.
And then a dude comes in, tries to kill her, and then you find out that it's a bunch of dudes trying to kill her, and it literally divulges very quickly into a slow motion fight scene in the snow while she's naked. Holy shit.
And she can fight better than any of the guys can.
Yes, she fucking brutally murders everyone.
Every one of them.
The way that this is set, the entire scene is basically in slow motion. But it doesn't drag out too long.
No.
It's very obvious that they're trying to emphasize the nudity, which is
the
surprisingly...
jiggle physics are amazing.
Yes. It's surprisingly tasteful for something like this. But the slow motion also, I thought, made the violence of her murdering everybody... it made it almost elegant and grotesque, like a dance. But then you have like the blood, the limbs, and it like contrasts that beautiful snowy setting. It was really cool.
It is.
I liked it.
Do you think Quentin Tarantino saw this and got a little inspiration?
Abso-fucking-lutely.
Did you see that the moment you saw the doors open in the snow and you're just like...
Abso-fucking-lutely.
You're like, oh my god, what's her name? Oren Ishii? Yeah, I went...
There's no way Tarantino did not draw inspiration for Oren's entire sequence from this movie.
This is beautiful. Beautiful.
Nope, you gotta say something.
So, there is one thing that fighting naked for a woman in Japan, I don't know this is a fact. I don't know. But if you see how kimono is worn, you've got layers upon layers, and then you have the obi, and it's very movement restricting. If you notice, even on the cover, her sword arm's out. She's free to move it.
Yeah.
Fighting naked, she probably had even more of an advantage than the men that were wearing the basic, I don't know if it's just called, the male ones are called kimono or something different, but she didn't have movement restriction that she would with the kimono on.
Yeah.
So it's nudity, but it makes fucking sense.
Yeah.
It's like damn.
Honestly, like most people watching this are going to think it's just absolutely ridiculous.
Oh, they just wanted boobies flying everywhere.
Which is true. It's an exploitation film.
Yeah.
But it makes sense. They actually, like, I think to some degree thought this out.
Yeah.
After this, we jump ahead all the transitions in this movie happen very abruptly.
Yeah.
So, like, this scene ends and we immediately jump ahead and
she's at the Crooks Orphanage is what I noted. It looks like it's a place where women live by stealing and conning men, but it sounds like they're all women that don't have families or homes.
Right. But right before that, she reconnects with our assassin guy.
Oh, the really
street.
bad one? Oh, Shinosuke.
That's his name?
That's what Christina kept saying the whole time. Shinosuke. That's his name.
Shinosuke. Okay. I won't remember that. But so she reconnects with him briefly. It stops him from getting mugged.
Yep.
By one of the girls that we later
By
see.
a first day in training girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then she goes to this.
Brings her back home.
Yeah, brings her back home.
Where you find out this is where she pretty much grew up after her dad died.
Yes. In the scenes that follow, something I noticed was that there's a hierarchy in this film of the longer the sideburns or the greater the mustache, the higher class you are.
Oh my god, yeah, huh? If you have no no facial hair, you're nobody. Get out. Oh my god.
It's like the agent. He had the full mutton chops.
Jesus.
Or mutton stash.
The red-haired American dude.
Yeah.
Who had kind of a Texas accent that kept falling off most of the movie.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, it was terrible.
This part of the movie kind of progresses pretty quick. Like, we go through these various scenes and then we wind up in the gambling hall.
Yep.
where we've got we meet our English agent.
Swear to God, she's Scandinavian.
Probably.
Oh, and they comment, and this is a comment that I remember everybody making at the screening when we were at Otakon. She's blonde. She's fucking full-headed brunette.
I have that written down. I was like, because the guy says, "Oh, or who says it? Somebody says that you, the girl is."
The first dude that gets killed.
Yeah, the English. Yeah. She's an English gambling player.
Yep.
Or card player, and she's blonde.
Yeah, you'll recognize her because she's blonde.
And in the next scene, she's brunette.
She's a brunette Scandinavian. I'm like, did they cast somebody and she just bowed the fuck out?
I'm thinking.
So they're like, "Hey, girl, get in here."
Well, I'm thinking that they had it written for a blonde actress. They shot the scene with that dialogue, and then maybe they couldn't cast somebody blonde. They couldn't find somebody that was willing to do it.
Don't know.
And then boom, they were stuck with that.
Oh my God, it drives me crazy. That was one of the scenes that I remember my friend Liz like shouting, "She's not even fucking blonde," as loud as she could in the thing. Like, there are scenes where I remember when people were screaming stuff. Oh my God. I
can imagine Liz watching this fucking
Oh my
movie.
God.
Holy
We were
shit.
all fucking hooting and hollering at this bullshit. So she's at the gambling hall and she's defending the honor because she finds the sister, Yuki. But she's already been sold to bad guy number 1. And I don't remember his name fully. I think it was Inanaura.
Oh, yeah. So the way this movie is set up is essentially like levels in a video game.
Yeah.
So she's essentially making her way up the chain, kind of like Kill Bill, which obviously
a lot of
inspiration.
Yeah.
But so she's trying to kill her way through the people that killed her dad. So like think of it like boss fights.
Yeah.
Continue.
I'm trying to find. Yeah. Iwakado.
So
we're gonna butcher these names. I'm sorry.
To make it easier, the way I associated everybody, because the names were escaping me.
Yeah.
You had protagonist.
Yep.
Assassin. English agent. And then for like the villains, it was the deer, the boar, and the moth.
Oh, it was butterfly. Deer, moth, and butterfly.
Was it butterfly?
I believe it was butterfly.
Oh, all right, butterfly. Whatever.
We're doing great on this one, guys.
But that's how I was referring to them the entire time.
Yeah. Okay. So she's in there. She offers herself. She says, "If I win, I take Yuki with me in a gambling thing. If I lose, you get me." So then we have the showdown then we're brought to like a ballroom kind of dance where you've got Japanese traditional kimono and dress meets Western day glow. Yeah. Weird American outfits.
It was real because they keep referring to these people as English, but
yeah,
I feel like they were American.
I feel like they were American.
So I don't know. It was a very odd clash there.
It was so strange. And some of the outfits, I'm like, why is this Dayglow green? Like, it's so bright against these beautiful, like, plum and blue kimono outfits. And I'm like...
Well, I think it's just to make them stand out visually.
Yeah.
And it works.
It does. They definitely stand out. So the Christina, the English spy, comes down the stairs and you're introduced to her, and she's very beautiful. She's very striking.
Oh yeah.
She has very soft features, but her facial acting drives me fucking crazy.
What facial acting?
Oh my God. She's supposed to look surprised, or she has like deadpan gambling face down beautifully, like no emotion.
Yeah, so that scene, right? Yeah. So right after you meet her, they
jump right into the
cut
gambling
into the
scene.
gambling.
Yep.
And they're basically playing poker, I think, or
I think it's poker because at one point there was somebody had a full house, somebody had like
Yeah.
4 aces and a queen, or it was.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't know card games.
I kind of followed it a little.
I don't know how to play any. I don't know. Poker is a fucking complete mystery to me. But throughout this whole scene, I was watching the way it was edited and the way they acted without words.
Yeah.
So like, this is where I really noticed how fucking intense our protagonists' like eyes are, because they focus a lot on their eyes and like the stoic poker faces throughout this, and it's edited a lot like like they're dueling off.
Yes.
And it's really cool. Like the tension builds pretty well throughout it.
And you're worried that Ocho's she's gonna lose at some point. You're like, oh my god, she's gonna lose. Christina's doing good. But then in the middle of it, all of a sudden, assassin comes in and tries to take this guy's life again.
Literally
he just runs in going, ha! Like, that's it.
Like,
he just runs in.
In the middle of the scene. What the fuck? and then, like, this whole scene happens where he runs in,
They
he
fight.
disrupts the whole thing, they
Yep.
fight. Him and Christina re-meet for the
Yes.
first time.
Well, because, and we'll backtrack, when Ocho meets Assassin for the first time in the streets, or when she saves him from the first assassination attempt he does,
Yeah.
she pickpockets him, and she sees that there's a locket with a predominantly Western-looking girl in it.
Yeah.
Cut to the meeting on the stairs, you see that it's Christina.
Yeah.
And they have a moment where she's like, and he's like, shoot him! And she's like, literally, that's all she's doing. So bad.
The most hilarious part about this is you go through this whole dramatic moment that happens so abruptly, and then it literally hard cuts back to them gambling again.
Yep. It's done. It's
so
over. It hard
weird.
cuts to them going back to gambling. But then we have a fever dream sequence of her having sex with Shinosuke in her mind, and it throws her game off and she loses.
Yes.
But it emphasizes that she saw him, her whole game's off, what she was there to do, her mission is now ruined because she just saw the love of her life. I'm assuming.
I'm gonna say yes.
Yeah.
We go from her losing.
Yep.
It's worth mentioning that our protagonist pickpockets her gun, which it becomes useful later on. And then the guy promises, all right, I'm gonna let her go at noon.
I'll have her at noon tomorrow. Cut to hard cut to
a pretty uncomfortable rape scene, which is it's hard to watch. It doesn't get graphic.
It's not graphic, it's not violent, but it is fucking disturbing.
It's disturbing.
Because one of the comments he makes is, deflowering virgins is my hobby. And that's when you know, you're like, oh, I want to see some shit. I don't know about this.
But literally almost the next scene, we go back to Christina.
Yep.
And she's kind of thinking about assassin guy. And her boss, the mutton chop guy, comes
it's like,
in.
You could have killed him. You missed him. And then he rapes her as a punishment.
Yeah. All right. So
It tells her, your training starts now.
I made
What?
I made that as a comment. I was like, all right. And I know that this is going to sound un-PC, but I wrote it the best way I could. So in those years in Japan and the Asian countries and stuff, I know that things were like, women were still being treated as objects.
Women were property.
They were property. They were owned by men.
We don't have anything in front of us to like, oh, this is definite.
No,
this is
just
opinions
off the
from
cuff.
things that we've seen.
But so seeing that guy take advantage of that young girl, I understood why it was happening. I was like, all right, it's that time period. They could do that. Not that it was okay.
Oh, it was not okay.
I don't condone it.
No.
But, and then seeing the English guy do it to Christina,
who is supposed to be an English spy equal to him.
that fucking sat weird to me.
I don't like that scene. Like, he's trying to teach her a lesson, but the lesson is he's training her, and basically none of this is consensual. No. None of it.
Though her actions then seem super consensual.
Well, because what she says in her mind is
Yeah.
a spy needs to learn how to turn it off.
Yeah.
And she literally, out of body, you can see it, she out of body turned it off.
Yeah.
And it was...
It's weird.
It's a little deeper than it should be.
I honestly, like, I try to think about it as logically as I can, and I'm pretty sure that because this is a Japanese film, it's being written from a Japanese perspective, so I assume that they just took that same mentality
From that era and just
and
was
put
like...
it to the English as well.
Like, I mean, there's one movie, not fairly recently, it's maybe about 10 or so years old, Memoirs of a Geisha. Sayuri, or Chio, was sold by her, and her sister were sold by her parents to, I don't know exactly, what it was anymore. I don't know the wording anymore. But so her parents could survive, they sold their only 2 children.
Yeah.
Children and women were objects. They were property. Like, this was a barter and sell kind of thing. It's terrible.
Oh, absolutely.
But you can see even in Memoirs of a Geisha, which was a couple of decades ago, it was in that too. Not to the extreme that it is in this movie. These scenes are very uncomfortable. I will say they're very triggering. This movie is not a movie you watch just for shits and giggles. Go into your research to see some of these, even with exploitation films. Go into it, read the synopsis, find out if something's going to be triggering. Because this movie, if you don't go into it right,
well, that's
it's not like it's not for some people.
Exploitation is a thing that you have to go into with the right mindset.
Yeah.
You have to be into that type of what's seen now as like wacky filmmaking.
Yeah.
And it was then. Like, it's just throw shit at the wall and try and...
I just realized something.
What?
So we are drinking New England caramel macchiato still?
Yeah, I don't even want to talk about it anymore.
Well, this is the first time we're talking about
no,
this
it's
coffee.
not New England. It's Barissimo.
Oh, Barissimo. So this is the first time we're talking about this coffee to them. So as you can tell, we've done a few episodes. We had to wait for the sequel to this to come in to record it. I wanted to do one after the other. Delays in shipping. It's this time of year. Yesterday was Thanksgiving, so shipping stuff is just a little weird. So we waited, 2-3 weeks for this movie to come in?
Yeah, so you guys are essentially seeing episode 3 and 4
after we've recorded
after episode 12. So we've
been drinking this one a little bit, so we apologize. This one's going to be a little weird. This coffee's not good. It's an Aldi brand coffee, and I feel like Aldi brands, which is like a cheaper grocery store up here, kind of like Food Lion down south that I know of, or Price Right. I've lived in North Carolina, so I know Food Lion is like the kind of equal to it. I don't know west of here, of the East Coast. I know nothing.
No.
So it's kind of like a more affordable grocery store. However, a lot of things are good. A lot of things are not good. If you want quick, dirty coffee, I recommend this. If you want good coffee, don't drink this.
Don't drink it.
Don't
this is like dirty water.
We have been struggling for 2 weeks to drink this one?
We're just trying to get through it at this point, and unfortunately we have like 3 more flavors from this same company.
We have maple syrup, pumpkin spice, and vanilla creme brulee.
I swear to God, if none of those have any flavor, I'm gonna kill myself.
So back to the movie. After that scene, I'm a little jumbled as to where it goes next. But I do have a note here that one of the things that the English dude, the American dude, and what seems like the head of a company, he's the second bad guy. He's the one with the boar tattoo. They have a meeting with Deer Guy. All 3 of them have a meeting in the house.
No, boar tattoo was the president.
Is the president. Okay, boar tattoo is the president.
Deer tattoo.
Boar tattoo. And then butterfly.
And butterfly.
Yes. So Deer and Boar meet up with American Dude. I believe this is after the scene where he teaches her a lesson.
Yeah.
I can't. This movie's really jumbled because the ending sequence fucks me up every time. So he says that they're like trying to help them fund and become a stronger nation. But he says to Christina, not a scene before, Japan is a barbaric country and we are trying to start the second Opium War. I was like, what?
Well, I understood what they were going for there because, like, especially in the past, I don't know how much they do it now, but, like, the entire idea of spies and secret agents was to, like, what they did was incite incident and, like, try to topple governments.
Yeah.
So, like, that made sense to me. If they were spies, they were trying to essentially start a war so that they could dismantle the Japanese government.
Yep.
Makes sense. I get it.
Does. But it's still a lot. Okay, the next sequence is until Assassin Guy barges into the Crick Girl's place to hide. I don't remember what was in between that now.
I don't remember what was in between that. Literally from the Christina's rape scene.
Yeah.
My next note is woman beating circus.
Oh, yes. So...
And I know exactly what I meant by that.
Yep. The assassin sneaks in or finds his way into Ocho's female pickpocket school, basically.
Yeah.
And he's like, hide me. And the girls are all freaking out, but Ocho recognizes Assassin and goes, come with me, and hides him. Now they come in, and all you see is Ocho sit down, and the guys are like, we're going to search, blah, blah, blah. Cut to, we're in what appears to be a room with a movie theater projecting, with all the girls chained up like this, being beaten in unison.
It was like hilarious. Like it was like weird.
Was
but
this supposed to convey some terror? Because I'm just giggling.
It comes out of nowhere. It's literally like, and you have not just the projector going, but there's like all these lights that are like moving around.
I pretty much was like, what is with the camera cuts, guys? What is happening right now?
Oh, there no transitions.
And you saw people's eyes, and then you saw hands, and then you saw body part, and you're like, what is going on? It doesn't tell, there's no cohesive story other than, oh, we took the girls to beat them so Ocho would show up. But Ocho was in the kitchen when everybody barged in. So what happened?
Yeah, why didn't she get taken as well?
Why did they take all the other girls? But she was literally sitting in the like kitchen area where they serve tea, just sitting there like this. I was like, what happened?
I don't know. I feel like this movie probably had missing scenes.
It had
missing moments.
Are there deleted scenes in this?
A lot of Grindhouse movies did. Like, there would be like reels would get damaged, or maybe they just didn't have enough money to shoot everything, or things got cut out for time. Like, it happened all the time. So I'm thinking that's probably what happened with this one, because it feels very disjointed at times.
Yeah, there's no deleted scenes, there's no bloopers, there's no nothing. Also, this movie's not rated.
Oh.
There is no rating on this film.
Okay. I think I don't know if the second one.
I don't know, we'll have to see.
Essentially from this point, the weird woman beating circus moment, that's where we really get into the
meat of the story.
The actual, like, her taking her revenge.
Like, you kind of get the feeling from the opening scene when the dad is holding the 3 cards, which have a butterfly, a boar, and a deer on it. Yeah. You know that those are going to play in a part. This is where you realize they're playing in part.
Yeah, he was trying to tell her who killed him.
Who killed him. Like,
so she shows up to this place, basically barters for the girl's freedom, and says that she'll
take me, release them.
Take me, release them, but she says if somebody's going to defile me, it's going to be
you, second dude with the deer
tattoo guy,
who's hiding in the back like a coward, and he comes out laughing. And I'm like, when she says take me instead, I'm thinking, oh, they're just gonna beat her. No, take her means take her,
like
take her
sexually, like it's.
But This girl's smart.
Oh yes. So we get this scene where he takes her back to his place.
He's undressing her. He's doing this move, and she's like, "Wait a minute, I need to put perfume on because she has to smell nice." So she takes it out of her hair. She goes into like the side room, and I mean, when I say they're applying perfume, they are literally like.
She is hosing herself
down with this fucking perfume, like
cover
damn. And one of the scenes, you can see how wet her skin is.
And it makes sense why in a moment.
Yes. Because you're like, why would you do this with perfume?
But then, so she's in the process of putting on the perfume, and he comes in, and he's like, immediately needs her right then and there.
Whatever this was instant fucking aphrodisiac. Like,
yeah.
Is that the right word?
Aphrodisiac.
He instantly was like, hard and horny for this girl.
So he starts going at her, and she's very much numb to it. She's not paying
you can
attention.
see she's playing it up for him, so she's convinced. But the minute the minute she's lying there, and he does like a 180, and his head's here. Now, there is porn.
It's basically softcore porn. Yeah.
But it's not like I'm licking and kissing things. They're literally doing this the whole time to their body. Like, they're literally like, they're rubbing lips. Lips are just on skin. Like,
yeah.
Okay, what are you doing? How are they going? It was weird. And then he gets down to her crotch, and it's like, okay. He ate her out to death.
Well.
That was my joke. Well,
him.
Yeah, the reason why she had to gob this stuff on is it's a poison from Germany that once you ingest it, you die.
Yeah,
it smells good,
really nice,
but
and
it'll
tastes good apparently.
But it'll instantly like turn. What it looked like is it was seizing his nervous system and it was shutting him down.
Yeah, it was a cool way for somebody like that to die.
Yes.
I kept hoping that she would like violently stab him.
I
or
was
some shit.
honestly hoping she made my hopes she made my dreams come true with the last guy.
Oh God,
but
we'll get to that.
This one was more like, because she kept asking, who is the third person? Who's the third person? He's like, oh, you'll find out. Like, and then he dies. You're like, bitch.
Damn it.
I have to say, this actress, she has a beautiful body.
She does.
Oh my God.
Did? I don't know if she still does.
She probably still does, damn it.
Yeah, probably.
She's a beautiful, beautiful woman. Beautiful actress. No shame at all. I love it. I absolutely love the fact that she didn't give a shit.
She fucking committed to this part.
She didn't care if at one point, and I always watch for it in that naked fight scene. She doesn't give a shit if her pussy is plastered on screen. She was in that
And it really
fight.
wasn't, though.
No,
like,
it was very tasteful. You could see that it when she turned this way, they'd cut to a different scene, like her legs or her side. They'd show her boobs, they'd show her butt. Never, ever did they show this part until a very tiny bit of this lovemaking scene.
I didn't even notice.
It was a very, like, flat done. And I was like, they're very tasteful. But in Japan, even if have you ever watched Japanese porn?
I don't think so.
No. Japan blurs penises and vaginas out. Even in porns.
Oh, really?
It's not, I don't know if it's illegal, but it's not, you don't show them at all. Penetration, it's blurred out. If somebody, I'm going real deep in this. If some girl's going down on a boy, it's blurred out. You can show boobs, you can show butts. You cannot show penises or vaginas, even in porns.
I like the fact that she knows more about porn than I ever will.
I didn't have a Jenna Jameson addiction when I was younger, and I don't have her autobiography in storage, and I haven't read it 3 times.
Solid.
Anyways, back to this.
Something I'd like to mention is that I thought they did it. It's in a very basic way, but I thought they did a really cool job with the imagery of the animals throughout this movie.
Yes.
So, like, you have the cards, which obviously represent the villains.
Yep.
But you've also got, like, the snake, the imagery of the snake. And, like, they use it really well. Like, I think it's the president's office, and, like, you see the snake painted on the wall, and they light it. So it's, like, the focus.
I have a story about that.
Oh God.
Literally. And if you notice on here, she has the deer and the boar tattooed on her.
That was
But
cool.
the butterfly's here. So the butterfly has significance being like that, which first time watching it, I caught that this time. I went, God damn it! It's been 20 years. Just catching shit now. I will say that one of the comments I have is, I absolutely hate that fact that women are sex weapons in this. Like, I'm not a hardcore feminist, but it does bother me, like, seeing older films like this. Like, Christina's only point in this whole thing was to be a weapon, a sexual weapon. That's what I got from it. Like, yes, she was a spy, but he said it's time, like, at one point, English dude looks at her and goes, okay, Christina, it's now time to use your weapon. And she's like, weapon? They've been training her to basically use sex as a weapon the whole time.
I have a rebuttal.
Oh, okay.
You are right. I'm not going to say that you're wrong in any regard there, because it's fucking front and center.
Yeah.
But there's also, I really liked the inclusion of her and the assassin. They're kind of like a Romeo and Juliet.
Yes.
That's shoved into this story. And they basically serve as like a you have this Romeo and Juliet story that's juxtaposing the threads of vengeance that make up this narrative. So like, I don't know, they kind of offset everything.
And like the only way she could come back and see Shinosuke was to become an assassin, was to become a weapon, to be the thing that stops him in his revenge.
Right.
Because he's out for vengeance because those three killed his father, who was the president of a company. I didn't catch the name of the company. It started with an M. But you see, like, this whole thing ties weirdly into this kind of like...
Yeah, so...
It's an odd story.
She's essentially... Her character's used as a sex weapon.
Yes.
But they did more with her.
Yeah.
By tying her into that Romeo and Juliet side.
Like, they gave her a side where you're like, oh, you're not really supposed to care about this woman, but if we add this, now you care, because she fell in love. She had, like, this whole thing, and she came back for love, not for vengeance or anything. Like, she came back to find him, basically.
It's tragic. Like, it's cool.
It is cool.
Wait
till
I
we
didn't
get to the ending.
Yeah, I didn't expect anything like that to be a part of a movie like this, so it was nice to see.
Oh, let's see. So now we cut to after English dude says, you're going to use your weapon. They bring her, English dude. Okay, so this is where English dude and the other guy meet up.
Yes.
Okay, so I interjected that one way too early, but Christina, he pretty much says, Christina's here to do anything that you want. Do and give you anything you want. Says it right there.
Yeah.
And you see her, she is completely glazed over. She is in job mode. She doesn't care anymore. So the maid, it's not the wife. It's the maid.
I guess it was the maid.
Brings her, puts kimono on her. They go upstairs, and then we get the soft porn that we have of this thing. It is uncomfortable to watch this.
It's literally
with 400 people in a room, because now you're actually, like, hentai's different. It's drawn. It's actual, like, pretty close to porn. Like, pretty close to, there's a threesome happening right now. And it makes me very, like...
Well, it starts off like just like a lesbian scene.
It does.
And then
you realize...
he gets in on it.
Then you realize this hornball, and that's where the snakes are interjected, because you see the snakes on the wall, and then they cut back to his face, and then you're going to her. So it's a Adam and Eve good versus evil thing. It's a dude's getting hard watching this kind of thing. And we're all sitting there, 400 of us watching this scene, and I hear, get these motherfucking snakes off my motherfucking wall. Because that goddamn movie just came out. I laughed so fucking hard I will never forget that. I see that scene. The importance of that scene is ruined by, get these motherfucking snakes off my motherfucking wall. And I'm not 100% sure, but I believe Liz may have started that line.
God.
Because I can look at her at any point. If she eventually listens or watches this, I can look at her at any point and say that line, and she will laugh. Because we automatically go back to that very uncomfortable scene.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, my next note here is something we already talked about, but it's the during that train scene, which comes pretty close to this.
Yeah.
It's like the next assassination attempt. Like our protagonist and the assassin have kind of decided to work together.
Who is she kidding with that fucking hat and suit on?
Has nothing. No, my note has nothing to do with her. It's him. It's him and his. No, it's his fucking. You see him in the back of the train, and he's got this cloak covering his like mouth, and he steps in, and then he steps in maybe 2 feet into the car when he's at the other end of it.
Yep.
And goes, and tries to attack, and it's just fucking awful.
I get taken out of this scene so hard, and I'm just like, oh dear God, You saw me at one point. I just kind of went, and we're out. I watched this scene and I get pulled out completely. I have one thing that bothered me about the scene previous, because Shinosuke, before the train scene, Shinosuke catches her in the act of doing this, catches the dude's tattoo with the boar, and he tells Ocho. But before then, he meets up with Christina in there, and they have this whole big story about where have you been, what happened to you, I was mad at you, I hated you because I became pregnant, I couldn't be a dancer, and like you can see like why she came back, because she hated him so much she still loved him. Like, it's a whole thing. Yeah. And she pulls out the locket, and he has the locket with her face, and she says, you still have this. She has fucking sparkly nail polish on.
Does she?
Yes.
I didn't even notice.
It's one of the things that bothered me the first time I watched. I'm like, isn't this like Meiji era of Japan? And she's got fucking sparkly, hollow nail polish on.
It's a fucking movie.
Kids. Nail polish remover. And I'm out.
Honestly, this point in the movie got very like muddled for me. So like you have the train scene. Our protagonist gets captured. Mm-hmm. She then gets brought into like torture.
The church sex dungeon. Oh,
all right. So
love it.
I gotta backpedal a minute.
Yep.
On the train, we also get random switchblade nuns. Love it. Love it.
Where did those nuns come from?
I don't care. It was awesome.
I was hoping they were her like pickpocket entourage.
No.
So I'm always checking to see if there are faces, and they are just like right up to her neck, and I'm like, damn it.
But
where did this come from?
Random switchblade nuns. She gets captured, brought back to the church sex dungeon, which she's
tied up, and one of her breasts, it's literally like this. She's tied up with chains. And you can see the fact that they put the blood on it to emphasize she's been here a while. And I'm like, she must have been so cold and fucking uncomfortable.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God. And then we get Christina in what looks like a fringy cowgirl outfit with her side boobs showing, whipping her with what looks like the end of a fucking eel tail. Just
So this sequence, it's short. It's basically just.
But you can't fucking forget
editing. You can't forget it.
No.
But this is very much pulled right out of the. There's another subgenre of exploitation. It's women in prison movies.
Okay.
And this scene basically encapsulates that. So she's tied up, she's bound, she's being beaten. They literally put Christina in this like leather fringy outfit, which is something straight out of those types of movies. It's exploitation to the max.
Right there.
They literally...
this is highlighted.
They're shoving in other elements just to draw in more audience.
Like, she's topless. You can see the side of Christine's boob. You've got the nuns watching this at one point. The Switchblade nuns are just on the side, like, watching.
And then you, like, never see these nuns again.
No, they're gone. That's it. They're out.
It's fucking hilarious.
It's like, whose idea was it to put these nuns in this movie?
Who cares? Doesn't matter.
And then, okay, so after this, she's beaten her, she's tired, she's just hanging around because they've now rope bondaged her where the chains were. This isn't like we're gonna just hang you. No, she's rope bondaged, and I'm like, oh, those are really good knots. She must be comfortable. And then you're like, okay, and then in pops, President dude's wife, and you're like, what are you doing here?
The second I saw this woman walk in, I knew what was about to happen, and I was so happy that it did. It was like, so this is the twist of the movie. The big holy shit moment.
Yep.
Which, if you've seen as many things as I have, you know what's coming, and it's exactly what I wanted to happen.
Do you realize they told you halfway through the movie?
How so?
So after she has sex, the wife has sex with the other dude.
Yeah.
Because they've been having an affair for years.
Yeah.
And she's lying there with her head there. And then you have flash images of...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, of the daughter watching, and then she's in the background. And then you're like, wait a minute. Is she, like, connected them somehow?
You see, all right, so...
They kind of put it right in front of you and then halfway through the movie.
But... at least for me, first time watching this, so I got to that scene where he literally says that it was her husband that got murdered, and they show the flashes of the beginning.
Yes.
So I was like, oh, okay, so that was her husband. For whatever reason, I didn't immediately assume, oh, so the main character is her daughter?
Yeah.
And
it doesn't click until you see that moment where they explain everything.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, wait, why didn't I think that?
I also didn't realize that woman was the president's wife. I just didn't, like, I must have, like, looked away, missed something.
The whole scene where she's playing the piano and the dude's like, oh, we can't have sex. My husband will know. Wait, he probably does know because we've been doing this for a while.
I didn't even, it just flew out of my head.
Like, some of the things move so quick that if you don't pay attention to it, you watch it, and then all of a sudden there is a not really raunchy, but it's like, it's still porn. It's still like, hey, I've seen way too many boobies in this movie. And you know what? They all look alike.
Most of them.
Most of them look alike, but I'm like, okay. So that's all right. Well, boobies. But this scene where, you know, this woman comes out and she's like explaining the whole thing, like, oh, I'm so sorry. Your name is Kyoko Kenshi. That's your she's like, how do you know? I'm your mother. And I'm like, oh, or no, you're my daughter. I'm your mom. And I'm like, oh,
plot twist.
Interesting plot twist.
And then
her husband shows up.
El Presidente.
And then he's like, oh, why don't you tell her the whole story? And I'm like, there's more? And then he somehow, I don't understand why she's going, oh no, oh, it hurts. The water hurts.
He has the maid pull her kimono thing down,
yeah,
and then hose her down with water essentially, and the water hits her back and like reveals the butterfly tattoo.
Which you'd think, guys, if you just put makeup on that and then like let the water run,
hit it. Maybe they tried,
but
and it
they
didn't
tried,
work.
and the tattoo probably ran too.
Yeah.
So like, okay, we'll just do this transition because it might have been a little harder in the 70s to do that without all of the makeup running.
Right.
But you're kind of taking it out, going, why did it just like, oh look, and posed. Well, we're just gonna slap this on there.
Nowadays you could put like waterproof makeup as the tattoo, and then regular makeup on top.
Yeah, regular, so it'll run.
Now it's actually nowadays they do. To make tattoos, they actually use It's like a type of Sharpie almost.
Yeah.
That like I've seen them do it. It's actually really cool, but it looks way more authentic.
Yeah.
I personally, I don't know, I loved that reveal. Like, I was like, I knew that's what was coming, and I was so happy.
But they did it really well. They
Yeah.
did that reveal well. So you get this whole thing, and now I'm trying to figure out how the next thing transitioned, because the next scene
is Christina and the assassin.
Yeah.
And holy fucking shit, this was hilarious.
So it cuts to Christine walking down the train, and Shinosuke finding her, and they're having a conversation.
This moment, it reminded me so much of Casablanca. Like, this was the here's looking at you, kid.
Yep.
Fucking the the lives of two people.
Oh god.
Scene. It was so funny.
Oh, but it was. They're talking, and all of a sudden, out of the darkness comes the American English guy. One, he's got a gun, kids. He's got a gun. You're in the open. He's got the high ground. You have nothing to hide behind. Why didn't you just fucking run? All I have to say.
God.
All I have to say. If they ran, they would have gotten away.
So this scene is the most overdramatic death scene I have ever fucking seen. Like, they have... So, Christina gets shot.
Gets shot right in the chest.
Right in the chest. The way they shoot it...
must last about 2 minutes.
They have her hair blowing up
blowing
into
up.
the air with
As if she's
backlit.
falling.
But she's not. She's just standing there.
She's standing there.
And blood is pouring out of her chest.
I mean, like, gushing out. And she's like, oh, you can hear the in the background, and you're like, what? This is where the movie's like, and I'm done.
She finally falls. The assassin tries to pick her up and leave. He gets shot in the back.
Because the guy has a fucking gun, and he's on the stairs.
And, they linger on, like, them trying to, like, touch hands and say their goodbyes.
Grab my hand.
The thing that fucking did it in for me
Yep.
was the fact that the bells toll as they die.
Yes, the bells ding as they die, and you're like,
I was
oh my
losing
God.
it. For whom the bells toll.
Like, who put that in there?
Oh, God. I was fucking dying throughout that whole scene.
Oh.
It was perfect. It was perfect.
Also, when the president kills the mom, he kills her. He doesn't even give Ocho a chance to, like...
He, like, strangles her,
It was
right?
the worst choking scene in the world, because it was like, die, you! And his hand is not even around her neck.
No.
And he's guiding her with her shoulder like this. Like, pushing her. Like, helping her. And you can see there's no fucking contact. I'm like, guys, you can try a little harder.
There was also, like, I get why they had to be careful.
Yeah.
But there was also an attempt to try and make it look like he was really straining. They put, like, heavy eye makeup on his eyes.
I know. He looked
like,
silver and, like, silver and gray, and he looked gaunt and shit, and, like, oh.
They did, like, and I think that was to make it look like he was, like struggling.
Really having a problem, yeah.
And I get it. Like, I don't know. It didn't sell at all. Like, it was terrible, but there was an attempt.
I was really excited because as Shinosuke and Christina are dying, the American dude, like a dumbass, like a fucking stupid idiot, walks over to them to make sure they're dead.
And to gloat.
And Christina stabs him. Motherfucker shot Shinosuke 4 times in the back, and that motherfucker didn't die right away. He picked her up and carried her a little bit. Like, what?
It was... Oh, God.
Then we cut to Miss Ocho cutting the ropes with a razor blade in the butterfly.
It was
like,
hidden in the card.
It was hidden in the card, but it stood for me that her mother, even though she's the reason why her dad died, is still trying to help her out even in death. I was like, oh.
There was a lot of symbolism throughout this movie.
A lot of symbolism.
And now that plot twist is, we've talked about it a little bit, the placement of her tattoos.
The placement of her tattoo is here.
So on her arm, she has the 2 cards of the deer and the boar.
The deer and the boar, but the butterfly is not contained in the square. It is on her. So it's a part of her.
It's a part of her. The butterfly is close to her heart.
Yep.
Well, it's on the other side.
It's a different color. So even though
color.
it's a part of her, it has a different path.
It's not contained within the card.
The flowers are different. The colors are different.
And I love the fact that, so those 2 cards are on her arm. She's wearing her revenge on her sleeve.
Yes.
It's fucking perfect. I love it.
Even though this is a fucking cheesy ass movie.
It's well written.
I'm gonna save my opinions for afterwards. I still love this movie.
No, go ahead.
My favorite thing about her getting free and everything, she's beaten to shit. Her face looks like shit, everything. But then she magically appears in front of El Presidente in a clean kimono, clean cut, hair done, looks great.
Yeah, so by the way, we cut from Christina and the assassin's death. Mm-hmm. We come back to the president. She literally just jumps into the room from the ceiling.
From the ceiling. Not unscathed.
Jumps in, starts killing everybody.
I mean, and she takes both of her arms out of kimono, so she has free range of motion.
Yep.
She gets stabbed. She gets shot. She's walking around with she had shoes at one point, and then they're gone. She's walking around in the snow. I mean, this girl goes through hell to get her revenge.
This final massacre scene, it's not even a fight scene. She fucking slaughters these people.
Yep.
Is vicious, bloody. It's edited quickly and precisely. They do it really well.
Yes.
And it gets us to our final confrontation. We have our protagonist and the boar.
Yep.
And this fucking final kill is it felt so brutally personal, and I loved it. It's vicious watching her stab this motherfucker to death.
Stab, and then
then she just unloads on his corpse.
Boom, boom, boom. I'm like, you get it, girl, get it, shoot him. Beautiful. I hated the music in the background.
It didn't bother me.
It started off as a very odd 1970s rock song.
Oh, I liked that.
It was weird.
I liked it. It felt very period appropriate. She's walking into the snow.
She gets in the snow, picks up a mound of snow, and makes sure to clean the butterfly.
Yes.
And the flowers. So she got her revenge of all 3. It seems like she forgives her mother and wants to respect. But she also makes sure that's the only spot she cleans. The rest of her is covered, and she makes sure she walks through hell. She's like, I just went through hell. I gotta keep going.
The thing I thought was really cool, it's a very artistic choice that they did in the end here. So she walks out into the snow, and then everything starts to transition to the snowfall turns to cards.
Yep.
And then the ground she's walking through a black setting, but the ground is littered with cards, and cards are falling.
Cards. Yep.
And to me, that kind of just symbolized she's gone through hell, she's gotten her revenge, but she's always gonna be surrounded by the fucking carnage that that left in her wake. Essentially, it's always gonna be there. I really liked it. I thought it was visually, it was a cool note to end on.
Yeah, it was beautiful to end on. The fact that just seeing the pure white snow and it's getting covered in blood, and she's cleaning herself off, and she's barefoot, bleeding, walking through the snow. You know, the purest thing, that white, pristine, pure blanket is now covered with the carnage that she has to live with. It's just, ooh.
This was an interesting one.
Wasn't it?
An interesting ride. I wasn't expecting it.
It's one of those things where if I never saw it as a joke almost 20 years ago, that's painful, I wouldn't own this movie.
Yeah.
But this is
This is something, because I've never been into this style of like exploitation movie. I probably never would have watched on my own.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you showed it to me. I like it. If there's a Blu-ray, I want it.
There is no Blu-ray. As far as I know, this place called Parkney House and the Pinky Violence Collection. This is the only one I know, because the sequel is Pinky Violence too. Yeah, this is that's funny.
What?
It has several names. Fuyo Angoden. The story of a bad elder sister, a deer amongst wild boars.
Ooh, that's cool.
Ooh. What? Like, here. You can zoom in on that. I can't pronounce most of those words, but I didn't even realize, hey, they have the whole thing at the top. So, Shawn, let's get into the final thoughts about this.
Would you like to go first?
I would. I adore this fucking crazy ass crap ride. This movie holds personal, like, feels for me. Sitting in a room with 400 plus people. I don't even know if it was 400, 200, whatever. It harkens to a weird time where I actually, after the last 2 years and COVID and the way the world is, I have a hard time thinking about being in a room with that many people now. I was nervous about when we went to the movie theaters a couple of times, and there was like less than 10 people in those theaters those times. Like, we were this close, you could smell everybody. You could hear everybody breathing, coughing, everything. We were on top of each other. It was a wild ride. But it was something that this experience was so much different with a huge amount of people. You had people screaming, laughing. You missed parts of the movie. I didn't know the plot. It was just a random, fucked up 70s movie with sex. Upon watching it the second time with Liz and a couple of other friends, because we wanted to introduce this movie to our friends that we saw at Otakon that was really cool, I didn't like it. I thought it was silly. Like, it wasn't my cup of tea, but it had memories. Now, after meeting you, after kind of going through movies, after seeing things, I appreciate this so much more, because it is that kind of movie that they don't make things like this nowadays. This is for a specific audience, a specific kind of people. You know, you wouldn't put this in theaters now. People would be like, nope, get it off. Nope, not even. It doesn't even have a rating. It's not rated at all. Which means, obviously, it's an international film.
No, a lot of things from this era never went past the rating board.
So this probably did play in a grindhouse cinema at one point.
I guarantee it.
And there is probably a strange little cult following of people that are like, wait, you know what Sex and Fury is? I have met 2 people in my life that knew what this film was. 2. And they looked at me and went, you own Sex and Fury? I'm like, yes, I do. They're like, are you willing to sell it? I'm like, no. I got offered $100 for this one day. And I was like, nope. This holds a lot of memories for me. I didn't really like it in the beginning. When I saw it, I was 20. I was 20 years old when I first saw this movie.
Yeah.
Like, I'm 36 now. Like, it hits differently. It's not you don't play this publicly. But as a little cult memory film, it's awesome. I love this. This is a keeper. Even though it's a DVD, I'm sorry. It's a keeper.
Hopefully it eventually finds its way to Blu-ray.
It would be nice.
So my overall thoughts on this one, first time viewer, I very much enjoyed it. I think this is a perfect representation of the stuff we're trying to cover here. It's got all the earmarks of what you want from a 70s exploitation style film. It's brutally violent. It tells a fairly intricate story, and for the time, it's well written. Like, they actually make attempts to, like, give you plot twists and fairly well fleshed out characters.
Yeah.
And I like I said, like if this ever gets a Blu-ray release, I'm getting it.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I really liked it. I hope somebody like Vinegar Syndrome or like Shout Factory or Arrow Video gets their hands on this
Please,
and
somebody, anybody.
give us a re-release. Hell, give us a double feature. I hope the sequel is as good. Yeah, I really liked it. I thought it was fun. I don't know if I would watch it again. Like,
This is a hard one to watch.
maybe in the distant future, but like I think the next time would have to be with a group of people. It's
This is okay, I want to pose this. This is like recording. We've done over 10 now.
yeah.
We're pretty deep into this. I would like to propose one day having a group viewing of this and then a revisit, if you would, to kind of come back to this with other people and see what they think. Because I have friends that love this movie. I have friends that fucking hate this movie. They can't stand it. They hate it.
Yeah.
But it's like more or less like, but why do you hate the movie? Like, I would love to get opinions of other people because we love it because this falls in the wheelhouse of stuff we like to watch.
yeah.
What about normal? What about people that just like go to the movie theaters?
I
every day?
guarantee most people wouldn't like
No.
this.
Nope. I highly recommend this for people who want an interesting viewing movie that are like, fuck it, let's just watch something crazy. Pick this. This is
Yeah.
crazy.
I would definitely recommend this to people like me who like grindhouse movies, who like cheesy, over the top, ridiculous movies, who like foreign movies. Like,
Yes.
I would recommend this to those types of crowds. I wouldn't recommend this to like my family or
Yeah.
like your average moviegoers. Like, my sister is a Marvel
She's not
fan.
gonna watch this.
She's not gonna like this.
She's gonna, the minute
like-
she sees nudity, she'll be like, nope, bye.
No, I don't think that would be the be all end all. She just wouldn't be able to get into it.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are like that. I would never recommend this to those types of
It's
people.
taken a few viewings for me to get into the actual story. Like, the first time I saw it, obviously you're not gonna catch the story with
No.
400 people screaming.
Favorites.
Oh my god. Let me get my thing back up. One of my favorite lines is Ocho says to Yuki after Yuki finds out that the dude rapes her. She says, in Japanese, I don't know what it is, but she says, you can die at any time, but there's only one chance at life. That's a pretty strong statement. And you know what? Coming from someone who has a revenge story playing out, that's definitely hits a little bit more. Because, like, she can give up at any time, but, she can give up this revenge at any time, but will she be able to live out her life knowing that she walked away from it? No.
No.
Like, she's telling Yuki, no, don't take that way out, live your life, but in turn, she's telling her, continue with your revenge, because you're never going to be able to live with it if you don't. And I was like... And
It
then
was really cool.
Yeah. And then my other favorite line, I bet you it's both of our favorite lines. The police show up, or one of the guys show up at the Crooks girls' school,
Yeah.
and the girls are like, no men are allowed. Yeah, no men allowed. And then the boy student goes, yeah, no men are allowed in here. What about you? Me? I'm gay. Fucking died laughing. Best line.
That's literally the only thing I put for a favorite
Really?
line. A lot of the dialogue in this movie isn't super memorable
No.
or quotable. That moment was hilarious, and it stood out to me. It was very funny because that guy is just like this little humor that
He is.
runs throughout.
It's kind of cute. I mean, the other big line that everybody knows, or me and my friends know, is, Shinosuke, where are you? She says it so many fucking times.
Oh my god.
Shinosuke, where are you? But she says Shinosuke. She doesn't even, like, try the pronunciation.
No. It probably she just couldn't.
It also, this movie also reminds me a little bit of Giallo. So, okay. So the only way I can say that is they have multiple languages in one movie.
Yeah.
And they try their best with subtitles in different languages in trying to explain things. I mean, a lot of it is that that bad Japanese English that you can tell this isn't translated very well. The English isn't translated very well. But it reminded me of the colors of the blood, and kind of in the way of that, where they tried to keep everybody pronouncing Japanese as well as they could, or English as they could. Very faintly giallo, like little giallo, not completely, but it was a little influence, like tiny influence there.
I think what you're picking up on is less giallo and more just the period, the time that this was made. Like, that's kind of how it was, especially in foreign cinema.
Well, maybe that's because the only real foreign, like, 70s movies I've seen are Suspiria, Beyond.
We'll get into far more of those.
What's the title of the one that you told me that we're looking at buying?
Oh, Your Vice is a Locked Room and Only I Have the Key.
I fucking love that. I want that as a tattoo around my arm. That's so good. So good.
I did put a couple other favorites, not in terms of dialogue, but I think my two favorite scenes in the movie were the naked snow massacre towards the beginning. That just visually, that was really cool. Not just because she's naked. That's just the plus.
Honestly, guys, Shawn's not like that.
No.
I'm more like that.
I can appreciate a beautiful naked woman for sure, but to me that was just, it was so artistically done and tasteful.
You look more at the production side of a movie.
I really do.
I look more of, wow, her nipples look really good in that shot.
And I personally really liked that big last massacre scene, the final guy's death included. I thought that like 70s rock and roll music was really cool with it. Like, it felt interesting and different.
That felt really out of place.
I liked it. I don't know. I felt like it.
I was waiting for Led Zeppelin to come out and start playing the drums and fucking guitar as she's slaughtering people.
I felt like it added something that you don't normally find in foreign cinema, especially at that time. Like, it was very strange, like, but it was cool.
Kind of progressive a little.
Yeah, I really liked it. Does it work? Use your words.
I wasn't thinking about this question, honestly. Does it work? Maybe. I really wish the story was fleshed out longer. And I wish it was a little more cleaned up. Maybe. I really wasn't thinking about this question for this one because it's just a fun fucking roller coaster to me. Like, not everybody's gonna like this, so it doesn't have to work. So I'm gonna say strong, like soft yes, strong maybe.
For me, personally, if you're somebody like me, this definitely works. Yeah. Like, it is what it sets out to be. It's a fun, ridiculous, fucking intricate story. Like, it delivers on violence, nudity, fucking I guess character in a lot of ways. Like, it gives you what it tries to give you.
Yeah.
I think it works. Modern audiences won't.
Yeah.
They're gonna think it's cheesy, stupid, long-winded.
It's dumb. Why is there so much sex? Why is it so violent?
Yeah.
Sex and Fury, guys. Come on, it's in the fucking title.
It delivers.
Yeah.
I think it works, personally.
Yeah.
How would you make this today?
Limited series. Fucking limited series all the fucking way. 6 episodes. Like, strain out her story in the beginning just a little bit. Pull out Christina and Shinosuke's love story a little bit. Pull out the mom's story a little bit. Drag it out. 1.5 episodes. Kind of Game of Thrones-esque, like, epic, set in feudal, like, or not. This isn't feudal Japan.
No,
this is Meiji Japan. This is more modern. I'm terrible with history.
It's
sorry.
like 70s Japan.
But it's still
maybe 60s.
Maybe maybe even earlier than that.
Yeah.
Way earlier than that. Like, this could be, if you take all of the sex, the softcore porn stuff out, but keep it in there kind of like a Game of Thrones-esque, this could be one hell of a period drama. This could be a hell of a period story.
I'm definitely inclined to agree. Like, this as a limited series would be fucking sick.
Make the dramatics of the revenge even deeper. Make the story even crazier. The twist. This has, like, Marvel-esque twists in it if you're not paying attention.
Yeah.
This is pretty good.
I think you could even retitle it, honestly.
Oh, yeah.
And, like...
I like the A Deer Amongst Wild Boars. That's a really good title.
Personally, I think as a limited series, this would be pretty awesome.
Yeah.
You could do it as just remake it as a movie, but
I think it would have to be. There needs to be more story. There's too much story compacted in the hour and a half. It needs to be longer.
It's very crammed.
I'm telling you, Marvel has ruined us for stories because giving us longer formatted stories has made us want even more of the story.
Yeah. Well, that's why everything's being adapted into series now.
I love. I mean, Japan's always had limited series live action stories. Korea does it too. I mean, right now, Korean K-dramas like Squid Wars, Hellbound,
Squid Game?
Squid Game. What did I say?
Squid Wars.
Squid Wars. So terrible. Squid Games, Hellbound is getting big, and that's another one. I mean, if people want movies, Parasite's fucking huge, and I watched that. I love that. You have not watched that yet.
But I know it's big.
Train to Busan, fucking movie. You're just literally sitting here the whole time, and it never gets better. I love Train to Busan, but fuck that movie sometimes. I can recommend movies that would be even better. Like, K-dramas aren't all about heartbreak, love. They go hard. Asian countries with their limited series and their stories and their storylines go big. That's why I think this works so well. Because this is an example. Yeah, it's an exploitation. It's a grindhouse film. It's meant to be cheesy and crazy, but it still has a great story.
Yeah.
They are good storytellers. Even animes. Some animes, you're like, how the fuck did this story come out of what people go, oh, it's a cartoon? It is not. Anime is something totally different.
No,
like,
they definitely up the ante.
They know what they're doing.
Is this exploitation or other?
Obviously.
It's
from
fucking
the gate.
exploitation.
There was no question about this is a grindhouse cinema movie. It gives you what you want, but it also gives you what you need, which is a good story, which is shocking for some grindhouse movies.
Yeah, there's a lot of absolute shit out there that came out in the grindhouse era and just didn't even try.
Yep.
This, I think, aimed to be something more, and it fucking succeeded.
It did.
It's a really good story that also delivers on all that you want from exploitation.
Yep.
It gives you a ton of gratuitous sex scenes,
Gratuitous violence.
some absolute violent murders, gore galore. There's blood everywhere.
But it's not nasty. It's,
No.
Oh, dude, look at the red paint.
Yeah,
just
it's
spray. It's great.
It pays off in basically every way that you can think of.
Yeah.
I mean, for fuck's sake, just for some examples, like it's the switchblade nuns on the that comes out of fucking left field and is disposed of just as quickly.
Yep.
And then you have the whole women in prison style violent chain whipping scene.
That is both disturbing and erotic at the same time, because you know somebody's like, oh yeah, whip them girls.
Like these were subgenres for a reason.
Yep.
Like this plays into not just the pinky violence and sexploitation subgenre. It's got a little bit of women in prison, a little bit of nunsploitation.
It's got bondage.
Like it's
got a choke kink, for God's sakes, in it.
It tries to deliver for multiple audiences, and I think it does a good job with it.
It does.
But I think we're at the end of this discussion, unless you have anything else.
Guys, if you're watching this, you know what movies you're coming into. You're coming into cheesy, you're coming into shitty, you're coming into some blockbusters, you're coming into weird. Give this one a go. This is why it was one of my first picks. One, because it's the weirdest thing I own, and two, it's probably the most defining grindhouse thing we might have right now. I mean, I didn't want to get all the good stuff in the beginning. So I was like, hey, why don't we try this one? And then Shawn's like, that's an actual grindhouse film. I was really pleased that this podcast that we put together, I actually had a good one to contribute.
Well, so we went into this with the goal is to watch stuff that we normally wouldn't have for the most part. We do want to do stuff that we've both seen. We started you off with some easy ones. Texas Chainsaw was our first episode because it showcases the period in time that we wanted, but it's a popular movie.
Yes.
We followed it up with Pieces because it's a perfect follow-up to Texas Chainsaw.
But it's a not well-known movie.
It's, well, in horror field
In
it is.
horror field, but like normal people.
No. But it is from the Grindhouse era.
Yeah.
And then with episode 3 and 4, we wanted to take you somewhere else. We wanted to go unknown.
A little bit of what I watched, the international Asian film, the weird kind of, I find this humorous. Like, I do. I laughed the whole time I watched it my first viewing. I don't remember if I was drunk. I was 20. Technically, I wasn't. I don't remember if I was, but I was only 20, so I don't know. I have no idea. But it's also like one of those films that I wanted to showcase. This is something that I actually have watched, and you have not.
No.
And we both wanted something, okay, I've seen Texas, you've seen Texas. I've never saw Pieces, you saw Pieces. I've seen Sex and Violence, you haven't seen Sex and Violence.
Sex and Fury.
Sex and Fury. What is wrong with me? The next one, neither one of us have seen it.
No. I don't know. In the future, I want us to cover mostly Grindhouse era shit that is weird. I want to get to that point.
Yeah.
With some more popular stuff peppered in.
Yeah.
I would like that to be the overall tip. I want that to be where we reside for the majority of this podcast's longevity.
Yeah.
That, but I'm okay with easing in with stuff that a lot of people have seen.
Because you want to get people interested in it and kind of see what we like. Because this podcast really is, we're going to pick stuff that we like most of the time. I'm trying to find films now that fall into my wheelhouse of what I like, but that I've never seen or have never heard of. Fuck you, dude. Has to be. Yesterday was supposed to be trash day.
There's a garbage truck outside, so if you're hearing any of that nonsense out there, I'm sorry. Continue.
I forgot what I was gonna say because the garbage truck interrupted me and I don't remember.
Well, yeah, I don't know. We're trying to ease in. We're trying to get people interested. Ultimately, we're doing this podcast because we wanted to try this, and it's fun. I like it.
You have already thrown me into, we're gonna watch this movie you've never seen, and I am a talker during movies. I like to put my 2 cents in. By him making me write everything down, and all of my notes, all of my feelings, it's interesting when he and I afterwards would do this. When we see big blockbuster films, I think we touch upon this in farther episodes.
Yeah.
But we get in the car after we see a movie. We don't talk to each other. We don't even look at each other because I'll laugh if I don't like it. And if he didn't like it, he'll laugh too. So it's don't look at each other. Get to the car. We turn the recorder on. We put it on the dashboard. And we've gone as far as, I think, 45 minutes, 50 minutes is the longest.
Yeah.
And that was for Night House. Yeah. Anyways, but we've done it for maybe about a half a dozen movies.
Maybe someday we can do something with that for this podcast.
I would love to have revisits. I really, guys, I want revisiting stuff to be a thing.
Well, we'll figure that out. Like, I think it would be cool to incorporate that in some way. Maybe, like, do some mobile podcasting of some kind.
That would be funny.
But, that we'll have to work out the kinks for.
Oh my god, we will. We're going a little too far on this one. Bring it back. Bring it back. Do you have any notes to add?
No, other than if you have never heard of this movie, if you've never seen it, look for it.
Yeah.
Find it.
It's
a
hard
fun
to
watch.
find. It's hard to find. I will tell you that.
Like, I think it's cool that she already owns it. Like, that's awesome. And now we have the sequel.
We do. That was hard to find too, but we got it.
But that about wraps everything up. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned for the coming attractions. I have a feeling you're gonna want to see this.
手たらの腹も立つだろうが、相手は砂利だ。見逃してやっちゃくれめえか。二度と再びドア段座に出入りするんじゃねえぞ。
どこまで白を切れるかお楽しみさ。知らないよ。追ってねんの知らないよ。私が受けた味、隠しどころへぐらいで死んだ女の苦しみ、そいつがどんなものか味わわしてやるよ。チキショー、何するんだい。チキショー、お前のみっともない死に様が私をまた先の犯人に仕立てた奴らへの喧嘩場ってわけさ。やめて、待って、言うから待ってよ。そうか、もうちょっと50張ってりゃ一生使い物になんなかったとこだよ。親分さん、男と女でも裸の付き合いはできるでしょ。テカトロの親分さん、その証書はゴーダの親分さんがお借りした倍の値打ちがありますよ。
小田さん、俺はな、あんたがこの扇組の跡目を継ぐってな不承知だぜ。下でんでったらよ、好きなことくだらべやがって。
I don't know if I'm prepared for this one.
I don't. And you know what? As we're sitting here talking about it, I realized, have we seen the preview for this one ourselves yet?
We have not.
So
At the
we don't know
time
what
of
you guys
recording
just
this,
watched.
we don't know what you just watched.
Nope.
But I have a feeling that if it's anywhere near as good as this, it's gonna be fucking fun.
I mean, as the wiki said, this movie was made the same year. So these were both made the same year. They were one after the other.
Yeah, I think this was a back-to-back, maybe shot all together kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which actually might lend to why this one felt disjointed.
This one is Story of a Wild Elder Sister Widespread Lynch Lull. W-A-L-A-W-L. Lol. 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 Lol.
Lol.
I don't know.
Lol.
But it is called Female Yakuza Tale. I don't know anything about this. Nothing.
No.
We're going into this one completely blind.
I'm excited.
I am. I don't even know what the blip is. You don't know?
I like the design of that packaging.
I know.
Like, so the first one, the packaging, it's a white box. She's on the cover with the symbol behind her. This one, the box is clear. She's printed on the cover.
And it's a sticker.
It's a sticker.
Yep.
But they use the disc as the symbol behind her. Like, that's really cool. It's a good design.
It is. It is a very good design. It's a little busted up because I bought it secondhand.
A lot of this stuff we're gonna find secondhand, unfortunately.
But I'm really proud that now.
Oh my god.
I got both.
This is a rare one, right?
Yeah.
Imagine finding the tapes.
Are there? Do you think there? Oh, we're gonna go home.
We gotta find the tapes.
Excuse me, I gotta go to eBay.
While she does that, that's gonna bring us to an end here. For more recommendations on films or coffees that you should check out. If you'd like to see our film collection, if you want to see some fun behind the scenes, if you want to recommend us some movies, check us out and follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Grindhouse Podcast. We're on Twitter at Grindhouse Cast if you want to chat with us there. We also have a Discord, which is also Grindhouse Podcast, which you'll be able to chat with Leah.
Yep.
She's going to run that whole thing because I'm not really a Discord guy. All the links for everything are going to be down in the show notes. Listen to us, give us 5 stars on Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, or wherever you get your morning fix. If you... new episodes are available first thing every single Monday morning. If you're listening to the podcast and you want a more visual experience, subscribe to us on YouTube, where you can get every single episode in its entirety with video. If you like what we're doing here and you want to show us your support, all that information's down in the show notes as well. We do have a Patreon, where I think we've worked out some fun little rewards that will get you some extra bonus content, and we are going to work on upgrading that as the show goes on.
Yes.
Until next week, I'm Shawn.
I'm Leah.
Thanks for listening, and keep watching.